Right. Go. Hammer.
I love to shuck corn. I've been shucking corn since I was a little girl. My grandmother used to grow it on her farm. But you know what's even more interesting about corn is that Native Americans have been growing corn for thousands of years. I mean, think about that. The United States is only about 200 years old, and Native Americans lived on this land for thousands of years. They built the first American cities. They were great astronomers and architects. So I thought it would be fun to learn about Native Americans and their traditions, how they lived long ago and how they live today. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. Native Americans.
Long ago, way before the United States ever existed, over 1 million Native Americans, or Indians, lived all over North America. There were over 200 tribes or nations, each having its own customs and beliefs. Way up north in Alaska and in the Arctic Circle lived the Inuit tribe, also known as Eskimos. The Inuit built snow houses for shelter while hunting seals, walrus, and polar bears for food. In the Northeast region lived dozens of tribes, like the Iroquois and the Algonquin. They cleared forest plots to grow corn and traveled the rivers by canoe. In the Southeast lived tribes like the Cherokee and the Seminole. They farmed the rich soil to grow foods like corn, beans, and squash. Tribes of the Great Plains like the Sioux and the Cheyenne were mobile tribes, setting up camp wherever the buffalo roamed. Tribes like the Kwakiutl and the Chinook lived up in the cool Northwest, where there were plenty of trees, wild fruits, and all kinds of fish. And in the hot Southwest, tribes like the Hopi and the Zuni lived in villages made of mud and stone called pueblos. Today, Native Americans are American citizens, and they're also citizens of their own Indian nation. To keep their heritage alive, Native American children often learn their native language along with English. And in addition to regular classroom work, they often have important lessons in their traditional ways of life.
Newsflash!
Lacrosse is a popular sport in high schools and colleges around the country. Did you know that it was invented by the Iroquois Indians? 500 years ago, Iroquois men played lacrosse to show off their strength and skill. Today, it's still pretty much the same, but now everybody can play the game.
Cool! Say it in
Navajo.
hello.
Yeah, hey,
Goodbye.
agone,
Friend.
shikis,
Thank you.
ahyehe.
That was easy. Newsflash!
For tribes in the Great Plains, the buffalo used to mean life. It provided food, skins for clothes and teepees, hair for blankets, and even bones for tools. Before making a kill, the hunter always gave a special prayer of thanks. These days, Indians of the Great Plains rarely hunt buffalo anymore, but they still respect them as sacred animals.
Native Americans!
Native Americans were the first inhabitants of the United States. In fact, they've lived in this country for thousands of years, before it ever became the United States of America. These Native Americans lived all over the country, and each group had its own traditions and lifestyles. This was well before the country was divided up into states. Native Americans rarely claimed land just for themselves. But about 500 years ago, Europeans arrived in North America. They wanted to settle the land and claim its riches as their own. At first, the Indians helped the Europeans and introduced them to strange new foods like corn and turkey. But soon, the newly arrived Europeans wanted the land for themselves. Many battles were fought. And then, in the 1830s, the young United States government passed the Indian Removal Act. They forced many Indian tribes off their land to make room for the new white settlers. Some Indians were moved to areas of land called reservations. Many Indians were forced to change their whole way of life because the land on the reservation was so different from their home. Today, many Native Americans still live on reservations. Others live in cities and towns across the United States. But they continue to keep their heritage alive.
Newsflash!
Yellow, white, checkered or blue, it's corn. And it's one of the most important foods in Native American life. It can be eaten fresh, dried for later, or ground up to make plenty of dishes. Like this Hopi woman. She grinds up blue corn to make piki bread. A bread so thin, it's just like paper.
Yummy! Field trip! This is the Gila River Indian Reservation near Phoenix, Arizona. And this is my school. The principal is Mr. Walters.
Gila Crossing Community School is #1.
Way to go, Mr. Walters! Let's see what else is going on. The kindergarteners are hard at work. And the fourth graders are working on a science project. Today's lunch special? Burritos and chocolate milk. Most of the kids here are from the Pima and Maricopa tribes. It's usually sunny in Arizona, so recess is almost always outside. But my favorite part of the day is playing on the internet. Gila Crossing even has its own web page. After school, sometimes we play kickball. The second grade is really getting creamed by the third grade. Down the road is the Native American Arts Festival. Sand painting is a traditional Indian craft. We'll learn how to do that later. Everything's made by hand. You can buy beadwork jewelry, moccasins, and bags here. Navajo artists make silver and turquoise jewelry. Wow! Other crafts teach us about our past, like teepees, drums, and pottery. Cool! Yeah, I think so too.
In Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico, you can see how the ancestors of the Hopi, called the Anasazi, lived some 1,000 years ago. The Anasazi built entire villages into sandstone cliffs. And the Anasazi also built Pueblo Bonito. With 4 floors and 600 rooms, you might say Pueblo Bonito was the first apartment building in the U.S.
Mia, Harlan, Brannely, Isaiah, Derek, Steven, Brandon.
Fox fools Eagle. In the far north, where the winters are long and cold, Fox came out of his warm den in search of breakfast for his cubs. He walked and walked until he came to a huge tree. At the top of the tree was Eagle's nest. Inside that nest, Fox knew, were Eagle's eggs. And Fox had an idea. He stood on his back legs and shook the tree, calling, "Hey, Eagle, throw down an egg for my breakfast." Eagle was not happy to see her old enemy, Fox. "I will not throw down an egg," she responded. "Fine, then I'll knock the tree over and take all your eggs." Fox knew he wasn't strong enough to knock down the tree. But Eagle believed him and dropped an egg over. "Now throw down 2 more for my cubs." "No," cried Eagle. Fox shook the tree just a little harder, and frightened Eagle threw down 2 more. Laughed Fox. "I tricked you. How could I knock down a whole tree?" Eagle was so angry. She scooped Fox up and carried him far, far out to sea, to a rocky island. "That's that," she said. Poor Fox began to wail a sad and lonely song, and all the sea creatures gathered around to listen. "What are you singing?" they asked. Thought Fox. "I have an idea. It must be true. It sounds true to me. There are more animals on land. than there are in the sea. Certainly not, cried Whale. Prove it, answered Fox. And so all the creatures in the ocean lined up as far as the eye could see. And Fox ran over their backs, pretending to count them one by one, until he reached land again. There he jumped ashore and ran all the way home, crying, "You left me all alone out there on the rocks." But it takes more than an eagle to outfox a fox.
Newsflash!
Powwows are a Native American tradition. There's food, music, crafts, and of course, dancing. Tribes from all over the country get together to see old friends and to make new ones too. Let's count from 1 to 10 in Pima. Let's do it again.
Make a sand painting.
Sand paintings are drawings made with sand and colored powders. Navajo medicine men use them as part of their healing ceremonies. Some sand paintings are also made as an art form. You can make a sand painting too. You'll need poster board, stencils, pencil, glue, sand, all colors, and scissors. To make a sand painting, first you'll need to pick a design. We're using stencils of traditional Native American designs, but you can make up your own. Trace your pattern onto a piece of paper. Now, cover the outline with glue. Not too much. Sprinkle sand onto the top of the glue. You can use any color at all. Then pour the sand off onto a plate. Now you're ready for more color. Just add glue and different colored sand.
Ooh! Neat!
When you've added plenty of color, cut around the edges of your sand painting. Spread glue on the back and glue it onto a brightly colored piece of paper. You can hang your sand painting on the wall or give it as a gift.
Cool! Newsflash!
These beautiful works of art are called Kachina dolls. Southwestern tribes believe Kachinas are special spirit messengers. The dolls are made from carved wood and given to children, but not as toys. They're for learning about the many different spirits sacred to the Southwestern Indians.
Say it in
Navajo.
Ya,
Hello.
Agone.
Goodbye.
Shikis.
Friend.
Ahyehe.
Thank you.
Sing!
Today, we're recording a song from the Chumash Nation in Central California called Chumash Welcome Song. Okay, quiet on the set. Stand by. Recording.
Hey, 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 ungawa. Hey, 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 ungawa. Hey, 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 ungawa. Hey, 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 ungawa. Hey, 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 ungawa. Hey, 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 ungawa. Hey, 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 ungawa. Ungawa, ungawa. Hey, hey.
You want to know something really neat? In the Chumash tradition, the song is never sung the same way twice. Well, we sure learned a lot about Native Americans, but now it's your turn to think about you. Everybody belongs to at least one culture. Can you think of any special songs, foods, or traditions that are part of your family? Why don't you find out where your family comes from? I'm sure your mom and dad will have some answers for you. So, goodbye.
Goodbye.